We say things like, I love animals. We buy the cute mugs. We follow the dog accounts. We sob at rescue videos. And at the very same time, we live inside systems where billions of animals are treated as if how they feel doesn't really matter. So today I want to ask a question that might make us a little uncomfortable, but in a good way, I guess. Why is it so easy for humans to disregard animals? This is not a video about shaming anybody. I'm not here to scream you're a bad person if you eat meat. Also, if you're sensitive to difficult facts about the way animals are treated in our society, I am more than okay with telling you to pass on this video and to check out any of our other happier ones. This does not have to be your vibe right now, fellow animal lover. I get it. But today, I am interested in the why. The psychology, the culture, the scale, and what it would look like if we started paying closer attention. To start with a few grounding facts, because the scale of what we're talking about is honestly a bit hard to wrap your head around. So globally, more than 83 billion land animals are slaughtered for meat every year. That was the reported number just for 2022, and it doesn't include fish or animals who die before they reach the plate. Chickens are by far the most numerous. As of recent estimates, there are over 26 billion chickens alive on Earth at any given time, with more than 50 billion raised and killed for meat each year. In the US, chickens alone make up about 95% of all farmland animals, and billions of them are raised in high-intensity systems we would call factory farms. So these are very big numbers, and that leads us to our very first clue to why humans disregard them. One of the main reasons it's easy to disregard animals is that the scale is so huge. Our brains turn off. Psychologists call it psychic numbing. When numbers get big, our emotional response shrinks instead of grows. We can care deeply about one dog in a shelter video, but 83 billion nameless animals? Our system doesn't process that. So we end up with this strange split. We care a lot about individual animals we know or can picture, but entire categories of animals, farm animals, lab animals, pests, get filed under background noise. And it's not that we're secretly monsters, it's that our brains weren't built for industrial scale suffering. There's another piece that researchers talk about called the meat paradox. We love animals, and we love eating animals, and those two values crash into each other in our heads. So to avoid feeling guilty or conflicted, our brains quietly do some psychological gymnastics. Studies have found that when people think about animals used for food, they're more likely to deny that those animals have rich minds. They tell themselves that they're not that smart, they don't really feel much, or they don't know any different. They'll turn them into objects instead of individuals. Chicken, not a chicken. Pork, not a pig. And of course, avoiding information that would make them uncomfortable. Nobody wants to see inside those barns. They scroll past that footage. One paper literally showed that when people expect to eat an animal, they rate that animal as less capable of feeling pain or having a mind than if they're just looking at it as a living being. And that mental downgrade, treating a living creature as a kind of object, makes it easier to go on with life without constantly feeling like we're doing something wrong. Then there's the visibility problem. Most of us will never set foot in a modern industrial chicken barn or hog facility. The system is built to be invisible. The animals live far away from cities, the buildings are closed, windowless, and often off limits to the public. We interact with only the end product, a nugget, a carton, a package, not the being who supplied it. In one U.S. survey, a majority of people said they were concerned about farm animal welfare, but also believed farmed animals are treated well, despite multiple investigations showing routine cruelty. There's a huge gap between what's actually happening and what people imagine is happening, and that gap is very convenient if you're trying to sell cheap animal products at scale. When suffering is out of sight, it's very easy, almost effortless, not to think about it. Language does a lot of quiet work here too. We don't usually say, I'm going to eat a cow. We say, I'm going to eat beef. I'm going to eat a pig. We say, I'm having pork or bacon. Those words create just enough distance that we don't have to picture the animal. Researchers call this dementalization, basically stripping away the sense of a mind, a personality, and inner life. And we use phrases like livestock instead of animals, units instead of individuals, production losses instead of millions of animals died. In global agriculture reports, animals are usually discussed in terms of tons of meat, productivity, and output, not lives. Again, this doesn't mean everyone working in these systems is heartless. Many farmers actually care deeply about their animals and struggle emotionally with the conditions they're forced into. There's even recent research showing that better animal welfare is linked to better farmer mental health because constant exposure to suffering is hard on humans too. But the language of the system itself is designed to be emotionally numbing. Another reason it's so easy to disregard animals is we're born into it. From the time we're little, animals are on our plates before we're old enough to question where they came from. School lessons might talk about farming in sweet, nostalgic terms that don't match today's actual reality. And the default meal at home, at school, at restaurants, at celebrations, almost always includes animal products. So by the time we're old enough to understand what's behind that, the whole system feels normal. Questioning it can feel like questioning your family, your culture, your traditions. Even people who are uncomfortable often feel stuck. One international review of attitudes found that many consumers care about animal suffering but feel powerless to change the system, confused by labels, or, and it's a big one, constrained by cost. So we fall back on the default. This is just how it is. And then there's the economic piece. Modern animal agriculture is built to make animal products very cheap in wealthy countries. That cheapness has a hidden cost. Breeding animals to grow unnaturally fast, which causes painful health problems, especially in chickens, intense confinement to maximize space, and cutting corners on welfare to keep prices low. Recent analyses point out that chickens have been bred to reach nearly double the slaughter weight in less time than they did decades ago, and that this rapid growth is linked to lameness, heart failure, and high mortality, but most consumers never hear about that. When poor welfare and early deaths are baked into the business model, animals become inputs to be managed, not lives to be honored. And because the system is so big and so integrated into our economy, it is easy for any one person to think, well, me caring will not change a thing. So we keep moving, we keep buying, and we keep looking away. But here's the part I need to really underline. The fact that it's easy to disregard animals doesn't mean humans are inherently cruel. It means we are incredibly good at adapting to whatever systems we're born into, even when that system clashes with our values. The same research that shows people downplay animals' minds also shows that when we do see animals as thinking, feeling individuals, our willingness to harm them drops. Another survey after survey shows that most people say they don't want animals to suffer and are at least somewhat willing to support better welfare standards even if it costs more. So the raw material for compassion is already there. It's just buried under convenience, habit, and distance. So if you're still here and you're feeling a little heavy and maybe even a little defensive, I want you to know it's a good sign. It means you care. And again, I'm not here to tell you what to eat or to pretend I have it all figured out. But here are a few gentle, practical things we can do if we don't want to live in a default disregard mode. First, notice the animal behind the product. When you see chicken, take that half a second to picture a chicken. Curious, social, capable of feeling fear and comfort and making friends. That tiny act of imagination starts to undo some mental numbing. Seek out real information. If you feel up for it, learn a little about how animals are actually raised where you live. Look at credible animal welfare organizations, not just marketing labels. Support better systems when you can, and that might mean buying from farms you trust if it's accessible to you, choosing higher welfare or plant-based options when possible, or supporting policies that improve welfare standards. You can teach kids that animals are someone, not something. Let them meet animals up close. Use pronouns like he or she, not it. Give the animals names. Those early experiences shape how seriously they'll take other beings' feelings later on. And be kind to yourself while you learn. Every single one of us grew up in this. We have all also looked away. The goal is not perfection, but it is alignment, slowly bringing our habits closer to our values. So, why is it so easy for humans to disregard animals? Because the numbers are overwhelming. The system is hidden. Our psychology protects us from feeling too much. And because our culture tells us this is normal. And because it's hard to question something that's everywhere all the time. But the flip side is also true. Once we do start to see animals, and I mean really see them, it becomes a lot harder to pretend that they don't matter. And if this video made you think, or even just stirred something in you, I'd love for you to share it, leave a comment, or tell me about an animal who changed the way you see the world. Until next time, take care, and don't forget to appreciate the rare and wonderful things in life.